Hello dear students, welcome to the English session. In our previous session we talked about active and passive voice. In our session today we are going to learn how to transform active voice to passive voice. We know that in English grammar, voice refers to the relationship between the subject of a sentence and the verb. And basically there are two types of voice, active voice and passive voice. So what are the components of a sentence? The first component of a sentence is subject. Subject means who or what performs the action. Then comes the verb, what the action is. And then there is object, which means who or what receives the action. Let us try to understand the components that we discussed in this sentence. Here we have this sentence. Jim composes a song. Now the subject here is Jim. The verb of the sentence is composes and a song is the object. Let us move further and try to understand the structure of an active sentence and a passive sentence. Talking about a sentence in active voice, the structure would be first subject, then comes the verb and finally the object. For example, he kicked the ball. Here the subject is he, the verb is kick and the object is the ball. Talking about passive voice, the structure would look something like this. Object, then be verb, after that the past participle form of the main verb and then by and finally subject. So here we get the sentence, the ball was kicked by him. Now here the object has become the subject, then comes was, that is the form of be, and finally the third form of verb, that is kicked and by him. The subject of our active sentence has become the object of our passive sentence. Now let us try to understand the steps that are involved in changing active to passive voice. The first step would be identifying the subject, verb and object. The second step would be move the object to the position of the subject. The third step would be use the correct form of be verb, change the main verb to the past participle form, and finally add by before the original subject if necessary. Now let us perform all these steps on this sentence. They elected him the king. So our first step was to identify the subject, verb and object. So here they is the subject, elected is the verb, him is the object. Our second step would be move the object to the position of the subject. So where is the object? Him. Let us move it to the position of the subject. So when him moves to the position of subject, it will become he. Now the next step is choose the correct to be verb. Now as you can see, this sentence is in simple past. So which verb we are going to use? Which to be verb we are going to use here? It will be was. Next step, convert the main verb to the past participle. The main verb is elect and the past participle form of elect is again elected. He was elected, and finally add by if necessary. Let us complete this sentence first. He was elected the king. Now, do we need to add by them? Actually, here adding by them is not necessary. It is obvious that the certain people are involved in the election and they are electing him to be the king. So the final transformation would be, in active we had they elected him the king. In passive, our answer would be he was elected the king. Now that we know what are the steps involved in converting active sentence to passive voice, let us do some practice. So the first sentence that we are going to convert from active to passive is, the cat chased the mouse. Let us identify, this is the subject, the verb and object. Now let us convert it. The mouse will come to the position of the subject. The mouse. This sentence is again, this is in simple past tense. We are going to use was. The third form of chase is again chased, then by, and finally the cat. The subject becomes the object. So here the final transformation is, the mouse was chased by the cat. Let us move to the next sentence. The teacher praised the students. Now here the teacher is subject, praised is the verb, the students is our object. So what will be the conversion? The students. Now as you can see, the subject here is plural and the sentence is in past tense. So we are going to use were. The students were, and third form of praise will be praised by the, who has praised the students? The teacher. Let's move to the next sentence. She will complete the project next week. Now this sentence is in simple future tense. Let us identify the components first. She is the subject, complete is our main verb, and this is our simple future tense. The project is the object. So what will be the transformation? We will start with the project here we will write will be, and third form or past participle form of complete will be completed by her, and then comes the adverb next week. So the final answer is, the project will be completed by her next week. Let us move to the next sentence. The chef cooks delicious meals. Here the chef is our subject, cooks is the main verb, delicious meals, this is our object. Now this sentence is in simple present tense. So we are going to start the sentence with delicious meals. Now again the subject is in plural, so we are going to use are. Third form of cook, cooked. Who is cooking? By the chef. So the final transformation is, delicious meals are cooked by the chef. Now let us move ahead and talk about some important tips on passive voice. So the first tip is, not all sentences have a passive voice. What are those sentences? The first one is future continuous, which have will be doing. Then present perfect continuous. These sentences have has been doing. Then past perfect continuous, had been doing. future perfect continuous will have been doing. So most of the perfect continuous forms, they do not have a passive voice. Let us take a look at an example. This sentence, she has been reading a story since 4 p.m. This is in active voice. It will not make a sensible passive voice. Let us move to our second tip. There are certain sentences which have two objects. Now, if a sentence has two objects, that means the verb is acting on more than one object. Now, either of these two objects can become the subject in the passive voice. Let us try to understand this with the help of an example. Here we have a sentence in active voice. Riya gifted him a book. First step, identify the subject, that is Riya. Then the verb, gifted. Then object 1 is him. Object 2 here is a book. Now let us convert this sentence into passive voice. Our first option would be him becomes the subject and we get he was gifted a book by Riya. Now second option, a book becomes the subject. We get a book was gifted to him by Riya. With this, we come to the end of today's session and I am going to leave you with a task. Here you can see some sentences on the screen. These are in active voice. Try to convert them into passive voice. Till we meet next time, take care.